the Southern New Hampshire University.gov Federal Employment Career Event. My name is Jim Lindsay, and I am part of the Employee Relations team here at Southern New Hampshire University. And we're excited that you're here to join us and hear from representatives from the FBI about different opportunities that they may have there. We have a large turnout today, so microphones and cameras are off right now, but we do have the chat room going there, so we're going to encourage you to put your questions up in the chat room, and that will give an opportunity for the folks here with the FBI to address those questions. And so we're going to see what we have actually for traffic and questions. So we might be able to, turn your cameras on and your microphones when, you've got your hand raised, so you can answer a question that way as well. So again, thank you for joining us. So individuals with accessibility needs requiring accommodations may reach out to the following. Online students, you can reach out to the OAC at snhu.edu or call 866-305-9430. Campus students, you can reach out to the CAC at snhu.edu email or call 603-644-3118. And any Southern New Hampshire University staff or faculty, you can reach out to hr@snhu.edu. And I do know that we have folks here from other colleges and universities. So if you have any questions or concerns regarding the accessibility of this event, you can email me directly at j.lindsay1@snhu.edu. So students here at SNHU, please feel free to connect with us at career@snhu.edu or call 888-672-1458 or connect with us at students/snhuconnect.com. So we're 2 minutes past the hour, so we've got roughly 28 minutes left to this session. So we're going to allow folks to start firing away with some questions either in the chat, or you can feel free to raise your hand and I can take you off mute and you can ask your correct questions directly. But Vance, I'm going to throw it on over to you guys.
All right, perfect. So first off, good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Vance Cromwick, and I am the Supervisory Administrative Specialist over the Human Resources Department here in the Boston Division of the FBI. Real quick, I have seen one question a couple of times regarding this session and then the next one. They are going to be the same, so you only need to attend one of them. Momentarily, I'm going to have my counterpart here, who is our administrative officer, Denise Taste, introduce herself and talk a little bit about her experience. But just to set the expectation right from the get-go, these work best if you guys pepper us with your questions and let us know kind of what information you're looking for and what questions that we can answer for you all. Otherwise, we're happy to talk about kind of our experiences and what positions we have available, what we're looking for. But definitely, if we can, if you guys have questions, feel free to fire away.
Okay, good afternoon. Again, I'm Denise Taste. I'm the administrative officer here with the FBI in Boston. Vance covers HR, which is under my branch, the Administrative Human Resource IT branch. So thank you for having us here this afternoon. My experiences, and he loves me to do this, I've been in since 17, so I have been in the Bureau a very, very long time, celebrating an anniversary coming up in a couple of weeks. The Bureau is a phenomenal organization to work with. There's not a day that I don't come in grateful that I am with the FBI, because there are a lot of things to do, I say, in this big, big organization, which crosses not just domestic, but also international. And what I love about it is you can move around in one organization throughout your career and really have a phenomenal experience with employment with this organization. So I noticed that the questions are starting to pop in. I'm not going to just dwell on me. So we will definitely start with the first question that came up. Looks like it's from Kristen Jefferson.
Is there an age limit for employment outside of an agent? No. The only position that has age limits are going to be the special agent role. Otherwise, we've had employees that have worked here into their 90s. They just come in, they love it, and they don't ever want to leave. So that's not an issue at all.
And I'll stop him there. And what's nice is that if you have a career, you can always start again with us, because on the professional support side, we don't have an age caveat. We actually have individuals who have started their careers in their early 50s because of that. And they have done 30 years with us, as long as, they're still willing to come on in. So that's also a plus as well.
Absolutely. In terms of, so there's a couple of questions about different positions that we're looking to fill. We have a litany of available positions. The way that I tell people to look at the FBI or think about the FBI is that we operate much the same as any company in the private sector. So while we do have positions that you would expect to see on television, special agents and intel analysts doing all that kind of cool out in the field stuff. We also have an entire branch that is administratively focused and works in a support capacity. So we have a human resources unit, we have a facilities unit, we have a property unit, we have a finance unit. So in terms of what type of opportunities are available based on a specific degree, most of our positions don't require a specific degree. They may require a college degree, but not a specific degree. There are a handful that do require specific degrees, and those are going to be positions like our IT specialists, our electronics technicians, data analysts, forensic accountants, any positions like that have a requirement for a specific knowledge walking into the role. Those are going to be the ones that have a specific degree requirement. But for example, someone sitting in my position or even Denise's position, there's no requirement for a specific degree. There are some that might be more helpful. If you've got a degree in business administration, obviously that's going to be a little bit of an easier transition for you. But my degree is in psychology, and there's really no right or wrong answer on that one. In terms of process of becoming an FBI profiler, so we get this question a lot. The BAU, which is made famous by Criminal Minds, is a very small select group of special agents that are housed out of Quantico. It's incredibly competitive and it's a very, very difficult program to get into. But essentially, anyone who's looking to go that route has to get into the Bureau first, whether that be in a support role or an agent position, and then eventually transition into a special agent role, and then put in and apply for be a part of the BAU team. So, however, with that being said, don't let me dash your hopes, because there are folks that work in the field in every field office and work as a part of the larger BAU environment. And so meaning that even though they may not be assigned to BAU specifically and function out of that Quantico location, they're going to be utilizing similar skills and employing skills that they are taught from the Bureau in that type of a capacity. In terms of options for someone with a degree in accounting or finance, first off, if you have any interest in being a special agent, we've always looked, since the days of Hoover, we've looked at folks with a finance background for the special agent role, but we also do have forensic accountants and analysts that focus specifically on financial matters and financial related crimes. We even recently actually were able to post and fill a virtual currency analyst position, which is a new position to the FBI, but it's dealing specifically with virtual currency and how it's related to crime. There is an internship program. The internship program will post on FBIjobs.gov. That's where all of our positions post. So it's a good site to have bookmarked and review frequently. The internship usually goes up in the early fall. It'll be up for a window of approximately 2 weeks, and then they'll close, and then we'll review applications and post. Currently, we would be looking to fill the summer of 2025.
Right.
So it's about a year and a half out from when we post it, because it takes that long to get applicants through the background process.
And it's very, very competitive. Vance can tell you, this past for Boston, we had over 100 plus candidates, and we only selected
4, I think.
4. And so that's very, they interviewed pretty much everyone. But as you see, that's very competitive. So like you said, bookmark it and start looking after Labor Day. That way you don't miss that opportunity. Those who are interested in a internship with the FBI?
We do use photographers in a number of ways. I see a question here about digital
Okay.
photographers. So we actually have photographer positions in the field that have duties and roles that they're responsible for in regards to taking photos on crime scenes, taking photos for any of our events. But in addition to that, we also have what is now called a multimedia specialist position, which we're going to be looking to fill in the near future. And that is going to be someone that is living a little bit more in that graphic design world, handling a lot of social media postings for events that are happening within the office here in Boston, or maybe career fairs, events, positions that have come open. So it's a kind of a new and exciting role that they're just pushing out to the field now.
So again, bookmark FBIjobs.gov, because that's where it will be posted. In addition to working with the media specialist, they also will be working with the community outreach specialist as well. And we do some wonderful events outside of the field office as well as within the field office.
In terms of cybersecurity, again, obviously, right off the bat, the first position that comes to mind is that we do have squads that are dedicated to investigating cyber violations. So those squads need special agents that have a cyber security skill set. They also have intel analysts and staff operations specialists, and those are basically more of your intel-centric positions that would need to have a cybersecurity background. In addition, we have computer scientist positions that would touch on that. We have an ISO position, which is information security systems officer position. So
we have a lot of acronyms for everything in here. Yes.
But with the trend of more and more crime and incidents going in that cyber direction, there's a large need for that. So there are a number of opportunities that you can pursue with a background in cybersecurity.
You got a couple before that one. What specific degrees?
So I kind of feel like we've touched on that. There's not really a specific degree. There's really no right or wrong degree. What we're looking for, generally speaking, is just that you have a degree and you've shown the ability to be able to learn, right? That's what we want to be able to know, that we can bring you into our environment and teach you the skills that we need.
And real quick, Erica, Vance is going to put his email address into the chat box, as well as James will probably take this information. So if you want more information, you can always reach out to him via email.
Absolutely. In terms of a digital operations specialist, so I can't speak. I'm responsible for specifically the Boston field office, so I don't know what the openings in Newark, Philly, or New York City look like. I know that if they have digital operations specialist openings, they will be posted on FBIjobs.gov. We talked about the age limit. English majors, yep, we're happy to employ English majors. Opportunities in GRC, I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure what GRC
is. Can you put that in the chat, what GRC is, Nicole?
We do have positions for clinical mental health counselors. We actually have had folks with a mental health background that have become special agents. We also have what is now called employee assistance counselor, which is a new spot that's been rolled out in a lot of offices, and those folks are required to have a background in mental health counseling. We also have victim specialist positions, which would utilize that same background. So in terms of internships for summer of 25, those are already spoken for. Great question regarding if you're getting your degree in August. You are able to apply for positions if without having your degree in hand, as long as you have an anticipated or expected graduation date, you're more than able to apply for a position. The only requirement would be that when you do graduate, you'll be expected to furnish a copy of your diploma and updated transcripts. Oh, great question regarding your resume. So yes, there is a large push for a STEM background when we look at people for a lot of our positions. However, in terms of what really makes resumes stand out, the biggest thing is making sure that they're detailed. I know that if you go to a resume writing class or a seminar, a lot of folks will now push that they want a one-page resume. When you apply to a job with the FBI, we want the opposite. We want more. The more that you give us, the more that we're able to get a true picture of kind of what you bring to the table. So it's not uncommon for folks that are applying for jobs with us to have resumes that are 4, 5, 6 pages long. In addition, what we really want to see is opportunity where you can highlight leadership. If you've held a leadership role in any way, shape, or form, whether that be in high school or college, as part of a team or as part of an activity that you've done or in a job that you've held, those are the things that you really want to highlight because we're looking for people that have shown that they can lead.
There's a hand up, James. I don't know if you want to unmute that person. Then we'll go back to the chat. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just gonna unmute. Oh,
there's 2 now, or 3.
we've got a few hands up here. Jove, if you're here, go right ahead and fire away with your question.
Maybe.
I can't unmute her. Jove, you can feel free to answer your question. Come off mute. I guess we'll go to Gina. Go, Gina, you should be able to come off mute now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello? Hi.
Hi,
Hi. Hey. So I was actually the person who asked about the digital operations specialist position out of those 3 offices. So basically what I also wanted to know was, because I have a tech background, I've been in tech for the past 10 years, recently graduated with my bachelor's in cybersecurity. And I wanted to know what other positions like that do you have, or should I be looking at for someone who has a tech degree and maybe doesn't want to be in the field, but just wants to do kind of like the background investigation, evaluating evidence and things like that?
So you would want to look at the DOS position. I would consider the DFE, the Digital Forensic Examiner, or the Digital Forensic Specialist, which is the DFS. You could also look at potentially on what classes you took for your degree. You could look at like a computer scientist position as well. That might be a good option. And you could always look at a data analyst position as well. Oh, and you would absolutely be qualified to be an Intel analyst. That would be another option. That's a little bit more Intel driven, but definitely would be an option.
Now, of those that you mentioned, are there any, because I know with DFE, there were a few that I did apply for, but I think with the DFE, there's a chance that you might see like sensitive images. I think the position I applied for, they mentioned that, you might see like children and stuff. I wouldn't mind it, but I would want to avoid that. So any positions that wouldn't really.
All of those positions have the potential to encounter
that VCAC, what we call it.
Crime,
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
It really just depends on the specific position that you're applying for in that field office, because odds are they have a set of responsibilities that person would be looking to fill. So there is always that possibility, but that's a question that you would ask, during the interview process.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Gina. Great questions. All right, we have a couple other hands up here. I'm going to go.
Sure, Jim, real quick, I want to just touch on one question that I saw in the chat regarding job requirements.
Okay.
It's important to point out that it says that they require both a degree and professional work experience. So that is specific to the special agent position. So just I'd like people to know that there is not a requirement for a degree and professional work experience for a lot of the admin support roles. That is just for the special agent. As a matter of fact, there are positions in the FBI that you can apply for and be hired for with just a high school diploma. So I like to just get that out into the ether for people to know, because people feel they see that requirement for a degree and professional work experience, and they feel like they're not able to apply, but they absolutely can.
All right, thanks, Vance.
Yep. In terms of, there's a question there about process to become a special agent. So that's very similar to any of the other positions that we post. You're going to apply through FBIjobs.gov. You're going to go through multiple phases of testing. There's a phase one, which is an online assessment that you'll complete. There's phase two, which is a in-person panel interview. There is a physical fitness test that you would need to complete before you're able to be brought on board. Thankfully, all of this is spelled out in great detail, and they give you kind of tips and tricks and what to expect right on the FBIjobs.gov website. And then lastly, like all of our positions, you go through the same background process. And that background process, just, to be forthright, is very much in depth. It does include a polygraph, a drug testing, fingerprinting. So it's definitely good to know, kind of know what to expect when you walk into that process. In addition with that, I will say that most folks that are going into that background process right now, it's taking somewhere between 4 to 7 months to get someone through. So meaning that if you apply for a job right now and you are extended a conditional job offer, which is what begins your background process, you wouldn't, you most likely would not be coming on board until probably sometime in the spring.
Go over the drug policy.
Oh, yes. Great. Thank you, Denise. So good thing to hit on the drug policy. So it's pretty straightforward at this point in time. It's a 10-year window on any hard drugs or abuse of prescription drugs.
Right.
So if you've utilized anything illegal in the last 10 years, that would make you ineligible. So you'd have to wait until you have been clean for 10 years before you can apply. Marijuana and CBD is currently a 1-year window. So if you've used marijuana in the last year, you would be ineligible to apply. So you've got to wait until you are clear of that 1-year mark before you submit an application. And what I tell people is that it's really good if you can, because you're going to be asked about it during the polygraph, it's good if you can have a very firm date in your mind. Like, yep, I remember distinctly the last time that I used marijuana was at, my friend Bob's birthday party, and he's born August 2nd. Okay, so I know that August 2nd is my date, so I'm not going to apply until I'm, a year from that. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter that it's legalized in some states. It is not legal at a federal level. So that is just, those are the rules that we're kind of just beholden to at this point in time.
Now, I know that we're about to break to the next session. So those that had questions, if you, with your hands up, if you want to sign on to the next session, then we can definitely start out with answering those that had their hand up, if that's good. Because it looks like
we have a couple more minutes still. I have 4:20. Yeah, I have
4:30. So
no, we'll keep rolling. I did
throw 4:23 here. So yep.
Yeah, we got time, Jim. I did throw our Boston HR email in the chat there. That is an email address that is monitored by myself and my team. So any questions at all, please throw that way. I'll start to roll through and rapid fire some of these questions. So we don't pass clearances. So regardless of if you have a DOD clearance or not, there's no, it doesn't expedite the process. The only thing that it will do is you'll have already filled out some of the paperwork for that clearance. So it'll make your life a little bit easier, but we're not able to pass them.
And then the only thing with the government clearance is the fact that it just grants you time. So depending on if you served in the military, how many years, and even transferring from another government agency, it only impacts your leave, where most start out at 4 hours of annual leave. You might come in at 6, or you might come in at 8, depending on your tenure. So.
There is really no tattoo policy. They don't like things that are, your below the wrist or above the neck. So if you're in a business suit, they don't want to see them, but otherwise, there's no issue there.
Medication about ADH.
No, there's no
Right.
no issues. Prescribed medications are 100% acceptable. There's no issues there at all. It's just abuse of prescription meds or use of meds that you don't have a prescription for that would be problematic.
Or selling yours or giving to
Yeah.
others that are not on, name is on the bottle. So that would be a situation there.
In terms of candidates without a degree looking for a job with the FBI, they should absolutely send a resume to that Boston HR box. We are constantly looking to fill entry-level positions here, and those are the folks that we're looking for to slide into that role. So by all means, we hold interview periods usually once a month or once every 2 months. What would exclude you from the hiring process with regards to the background?
Finance, if you are not paying your bills, that is definitely a disqualifier. Taxes, if you haven't filed your taxes, that's definitely a disqualifier.
Yep.
He went over the drug policy and felony, definitely. If you have been a misdemeanor, we can work with, but felonies, we will not, you will not pass the background on those.
We do not offer a relocation incentive for internships. If you accept an internship, you are on your own to relocate and find housing wherever the internship is. For full-time positions, there is a potential for a relocation incentive. It depends on the position.
But what's nice about internships, we always tell people, select interns where you have family or where you're from, because sometimes you may be going to school in New Hampshire, but you're from Maryland. So definitely you would have the opportunity to be to apply to Maryland for the internship. That way you're home for the summer and you'll be able to have your housing because you'll be with your family. So that's always a workaround when it comes to the relocation part of internships.
The majority of government jobs don't take a year plus to fill. The FBI is kind of specific in this because the background is just more thorough than what some of the other agencies put their applicants through.
And the reason why is because the security clearance that you're getting is a high level security clearance, and you'll have access to a lot of information, not just within the Boston field office, but all field offices through the computer databases. So we definitely have to vet. SecD, Security Division, does a phenomenal job. It's a slow process, but in the end, it's worth it.
There are positions that are advertised just for FBI employees, and you are correct. Those are roles that you're not eligible to apply for as a U.S. citizen. You've got to be in the bureau already. However, we do put up a number of positions that are also eligible to U.S. citizens. In terms of work environment for the FBI is fantastic. No, I tell people all the time that we're government employees, so it's very easy to Google our pay stubs and see exactly how much money we make. And if you do that, you will see that none of us are going to be retiring to private islands in the Caribbean. We're here because we want to serve in some way, shape, or form. And because of that, you are in an organization and in a building and interacting on a day-to-day basis with people that are driven by that same mission to serve, which makes for a very enjoyable and satisfying place to come into work every day.
Yes, and I always I tell everyone this, is that we have the best benefits of any government agency. Our 401k program is by far phenomenal. We also have a wellness program. We have other programs that you alternate work schedule. So the FBI is very, very willing to work with individuals, which is great from a personal standpoint. We just got a maternity leave, 12 weeks, and that even goes for fathers as well. So that came to effect about a year and a half ago, which is something that was fought by one of our committees, our women's committee, that fought for that, and the FBI heard them and they created that. So the Bureau is ever evolving. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and awareness. That's a great program within our organization. We have mentorship programs. Again, you can do temporary duty assignments. That's always afforded to employees if you want an opportunity to work somewhere just to learn that environment, which is great too. So You just have to get on board, and once you do, it's like the world just opens up to you once you get your feet wet with our organization.
Great. Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Vance. We've got about, I guess we'll wrap here. It's 4:29 now. So folks, if you wanted to jump into one of the other sessions, it's a great opportunity to do that now. If you do want to leave a question in the chat box before you jump, feel free to do that, and we'll see if we can get all of those addressed.
Jim, I do want to just touch on one thing. I saw a couple people ask about remote positions.
Yep.
The Bureau, unfortunately, due to the nature of what we do on a daily basis, remote and telework not really an option. So I like to just get that caveat out there.
Thanks, Vance. All right, I'm going to stop this recording, and we're going to start the other one at about stop recording.